Hello, hello. Good morning, or maybe good afternoon, depending on where you are. So excited to bring you this topic today. It's just so relevant to the age and the era that we're going through. I've seen these statistics where less than 7% of all Americans have optimal cardiometabolic health. And this was a study that's been done over decades and a wide population group. And it's scary. I mean, that we are all struggling with that, and that there's something we can do about it. And while we're just waiting a few minutes for more people to jump on, type in the chat what comes to mind when I say the word metabolism. Let me know your thoughts there on metabolism. Okay, we've got weight. My young adult son said food. Energy, stamina. Metabolism can cover quite a bit, right? And what if I had asked you this question a couple months ago? As we've been talking about metabolism a little bit more the last few weeks, has your vocabulary around it increased a little bit? I didn't realize that metabolism can affect so many different areas of our health. I just Googled the definition of metabolism, you guys. It is the chemical processes that occur within a living organism in order to maintain life. Okay, so metabolism is at the root of why we live and how we are able to do the things we do. So if we can target, those obstacles to good metabolic health and supplement and do the things that are free, then we can improve our life and our living on so many different levels. It's what I've always taught about doTERRA. Our essential oils are very multidimensional. You can use one oil and have many side benefits. And so, whether your focus is weight or energy or sleeping better or managing your stress, it's like as you implement these healthy pillars of metabolic health, then everything starts to improve. No matter what your focus is and what your intention is, you can have lots of side benefits. So let's see who's here today and what your, what's going on with you. Like, I just want to recognize that you showed up. You took the time out of your day to come and learn a little bit more and be present and have, up-level this intention to up-level your health. And that takes effort. So good for you. I want you to just recognize that, you showed up, and that's awesome. And so just take a minute and think about where you are with your health. I know we're go all day long, every day. And sometimes we're not really, we're just like managing, like I'll fix that later when it's really broke, right? But if you could take some inventory right now, I'm going to bring up a slide here, and this has got the, just kind of some basic areas of life and health, and maybe just consider how you're doing in each of these areas and where you want to focus for a second and where you need to focus. And let's just be real, right? How would your life be if this was no longer an issue, right? Like, couple years from now, you've been able to remedy some of these issues. And what does it feel like right? How can you picture, let me know in the chat how you're doing, if you can tackle some of the big issues that you've got and you're feeling better about it. And for those that are driving or not watching the screen, we're just talking energy. These are like the major complaints that I get as I'm talking to people. I'd like to lose weight. I'm not sleeping very good. I'm stressed out. I need more energy. My brain is just foggy. Is this part of getting older, or is there something that I can do about it? So, just think about that for a moment, and then think, what if you did nothing, right? What if these issues to continue to be an issue and continue to get worse, because nothing just stays the same. You're either improving or you're regressing, right? So if you do nothing, how does this affect your relationships, and where will you be in a year and in 5 years? And look, that it compounds and it exacerbates as time goes on. So again, I just recognize you for showing up, for being here, and for taking this time. And I'm bringing all my best. In fact, I'm too hot. I get excited. I'm gonna just take off my jacket here. Now, what I really love about our metabolic system with doTERRA, it's not a weight loss program. That is some of the focus, and if that's your main goal, then that can be a benefit. But overall, we're helping improve the metabolic health of your cells, on this cellular level. And I just listened to a Q&A with Dr. Brannick Riggs. He's on our medical advisory board, and he said, of course, you always want to work with your doctor, but he said, I see no reason that somebody who's nursing or pregnant can't take all of these components of our MetaPWR system. So it's not weight loss. We're talking anti-aging and metabolic health, okay, on a cellular level. So I know many people will have like a subconscious block against losing weight or any kind of a weight loss program. And so I just want to put it out there that is not the main focus. And if that's what's happening for you, I know many people have been on this now for several weeks, and they're seeing the inches drop and the pounds drop, and that's fantastic. But it's just one of the benefits, okay? And we talk about this concept of biological age, and if that's new to you, if you haven't heard that, raise your hand or let me know. I'm not sure how many people have heard this before, but you have your birthday age, like how many times you've been around the sun, and then we've been able to measure your biological age based on blood work and the way that your cells are behaving. We can tell your biological age, and it doesn't always line up with your birthday age. And so I took the most recent blood work that I had done and plugged it into a website, and my biological age is a few years older than my birthday age. But you guys, I have Lyme disease and several other co-infections and chronic inflammatory what's called response syndrome. I don't even like to say it out loud, but I do have some pretty big issues that I'm dealing with. So I feel like to only be, a few years older biologically means that what I'm doing to support my body is helping me to maintain closer to my my birthday age. And out of everyone I know that has these conditions that I'm dealing with, I have the best quality of life. And that's what we're aiming for, is to help our cells do what they need to do on this, this microscopic level. So there are 5 pillars of metabolic health. I'm just going to pull that up again real quick here. We've got healthy eating, daily movement, healthy connections, managing your stress, and smart supplementation. So these are all I mean, 4 out of the 5 things are basically free, or you're already spending money on what you eat, so you're going to spend that money on healthy eating. But these are things that you can do to have healthy cells and to decrease your biological age and help keep it healthy throughout your whole life. And so I love that, I'm not just going to talk product all day long. These are other things that you can do right now, starting today. If you're in our health challenge, go ahead and raise your hand and let us know how that's going. Just setting one goal to manage your health and, take that step forward. It's funny, I'm having a hard time watching the chat. Nancy says she has more energy and focus, and she's overcome a caffeine addiction after just using the MetaPWR system for 4 weeks. That's fantastic. And Nisha says she has more mental ability, more mental capacity, and that's expanded. She feels like she can tackle anything. That's great. Okay, so let's talk for just a second. I know my goal for this week is to get in my half an hour of daily movement. I have always had walking partners. I have a different friend Monday through Friday, and I get about an hour of good brisk walking in, plus some social connection. That's just awesome when I can do 2 things at once and actually do both of them really well. But yeah, it's funny, as the weather gets colder, I start to lose some of my partners, so I have to get more creative about how I'm going to get in my daily movement. So that's my goal this week. How about you guys? Let me know what your goals are. Okay, so now the thing about smart supplementation, like if you've tried, exercising, you've tried healthy eating, and you're just not successful, the smart supplementation can help amplify your efforts in all the other areas. So it's not just like, oh, one more thing to do, I have to take supplements now too. The supplements can actually help, as we're seeing in the comments, to strengthen these other pillars of metabolic health. So that to me is just exciting. When, we just give our body a little bit of support, then we can actually show up and do the things that we know we need to do. And that's why people are feeling more successful and seeing more results because of the supplements. Oh, we got somebody that needs the link. Hold on one sec. Let me get that. Okay. So as we're looking at metabolic health, it's huge, right? It affects everything we do and all the processes on the cellular level. The doTERRA has targeted 3 main problems that come up with metabolism. We've got 3 basic products that formulate our MetaPWR system. So we've got, I can't figure out how to get rid of this little window. So the maturing fat cells, let's see if this will pull up. Maturing fat cells, cellular integrity, and blood sugar spikes. So these are the obstacles to good metabolic health that we're tackling with the MetaPWR products. And let me just start with maturing fat cells. So if we basically have as an adult, we have the same number of fat cells are, during our adult years, and they die off. Every cell in your body, including your fat cells, has a normal life cycle, and once it completes that life cycle, then it dies off. But guess what? A new one is born, right? So if as those fat cells are dying off, just as they naturally do, and we're replacing them with a new fat cell, we can prevent it from filling up with fat, then our overall weight will decrease as we age. So this is the goal, is to prevent the maturation or the filling up of the fat cells. And our MetaPWR oil comes in 3 different versions here. We have of course, the 15 ml blend, and it has grapefruit, lemon. I'm trying to say them in order because the amount is important. They studied various different formulations of the MetaPWR blend, these 5 oils, and in different proportions, it had different efficacy. And so the MetaPWR is the most effective at preventing the fat from accumulating in your fat cells. And it's got the grapefruit, the lemon, peppermint, ginger, and cinnamon. Okay. And studies have shown, and there's still more research needed, but that it will help to cut the fat that is existing and to prevent more fat cells from forming and filling out. So they say about 5 to 10% of your fat cells will die every year. And so we've got the oil, of course, and then we have a little beadlet. And this is just about the size of a BB gun BB. And then you can pop it in your mouth, and that helps to curb cravings and help create that feeling of satiety, of feeling full. And then we have the soft gel, which has closer to 4 or 5 drops of the MetaPWR blend. And I'm just taking that with my meals throughout the day to help it so that my stem cells and fat cells are staying a nice healthy size. Now, the second area of the products that we have is managing the blood sugar spikes. So they say every time your blood sugar spikes, we age. It will take minutes and hours off of your life, depending on how often your blood sugar is spiking throughout the day. And so ideally, we want a nice, smooth line with not too many spikes and not too many valleys, just a nice, smooth line. And our MetaPWR Assist is the product that's good for this. It's just an herbal capsule, and it has mulberry leaf and berberine. And these herbs help it so that your carbs are not instantly hitting your bloodstream when you eat. You take it about 15 to 30 minutes before you eat, or if you forgot, then right during your meal, and it will help the carbohydrates to move into the lower digestive tract without being absorbed as much. And so that's what helps keep your blood sugar nice and stable. And then the third component of our MetaPWR system is the Advantage. Oh, I forgot the gum. The gum. This is also the MetaPWR essential oil blend in a satiety gum form, and it's just little like this, and it's got a couple drops of the essential oil, and it helps. Oh, it's got some xylitol to clean off your teeth after you eat. And I think, I like a little bit of something sweet just right after I eat, and that helps to kind of curb that craving. Oh, right, we do need to record. I'll be able to download it and share the recording that way. Okay, so the third part of the system is the Advantage collagen, and it comes in a little packet like this. It's a powder, and you add it to about 5 or 8 ounces of water. And it has not only collagen, but it has some superfoods as well, your sea buckthorn and red orange extract, rose apple extract, hyaluronic acid, resveratrol, and one of the stars of the Advantage is the NMN, and NMN is what helps tackle our third obstacle to metabolic health, which is cellular integrity. And this is one of the building blocks that your body needs to make energy and to make NAD. And I don't know, NAD has become more popular in the last few years. I heard about it at the beginning of the year for as a treatment for Lyme disease, to help get into the brain and help your brain optimize and recognize which cells are healthy and which cells need to move on. And so I paid literally thousands of dollars, you guys, for NAD infusions over the course of 10 days. And I probably need to do more, is what my doctor said. But the thing that I noticed, my energy was up, and my ability to moderate my body temperature. Like, it was spring, it was moving into summer, and people run their air conditioner, and I get cold normally, but I wasn't cold. So I thought that was interesting. And as I started taking the MetaPWR Advantage, you guys, $2 a sachet, I noticed that same benefit. So I know that the NMN that's in here is actually getting to where it needs to and making the NAD so that I can regulate my body temperature. I'm like warm, more warm than ever, and we're headed into the colder months. So yay for that. So those are the main products in our MetaPWR system, but I wanted this time to be for a question and answer. What questions are you guys having? And we started taking some questions earlier. And just make sure that I've covered those. They were asking, because the collagen is made from marine sources of fish. It's got tilapia, cod, basa, and sea bass. And why did doTERRA go with the marine-based collagen? And they were testing all kinds of collagen. They did the land tests, they did the sea tests, and the sea collagen was consistently coming up cleaner. When you're looking at the land-based collagens, you can get glyphosate in there because they're the grass eaters, and that will mess you up. Like one of my customers just said, okay, I've heard such scary things about collagen. Tell me why this one is different. It's because, you guys, doTERRA is testing for the purity. They will never let anything hit the shelves that's contaminated in any way with nothing that will do harm. So that's why. And it's got it's more ecological, there's more collagen in fish that's available, and it's more sustainable. So that's why they went to the marine collagen. Okay, we got a question here from Kathy. She says, is this comparable to the Slim and Sassy blend? Yes. This was the MetaPWR Metabolic blend, was formerly known as Slim and Sassy. It has all of the same oils, the grapefruit, lemon, peppermint, cinnamon, and ginger, as Slim and Sassy, just in a different proportion, because as they were studying and researching what proportion was the most effective, Slim and Sassy is effective. So if you still have some, go ahead and use it up. And then when you're finished, replace it with the MetaPWR, because this was shown to be more effective at keeping the fat out of the new fat cells as they're formulating. Okay, Nancy's having a question about the scheduling. Do you need to take MetaPWR capsules and the oil both? Or is it either or? Okay, so they did confuse it just a little bit by calling all three of these products MetaPWR, right? So if we're talking about the oil in all of its different versions, right? Soft gel, gum, and beadlet, you don't have to take all of these at once. These are just, and they give you all of these in the kit so that you can figure out which way you prefer to take it, right? Like I prefer the soft gel because I could just throw it down when I'm taking my other supplements at mealtime, right? And then I do like the beadlets for, at church when you're talking to somebody or whatever, just to freshen the breath and maybe late afternoon. Oh, and I do like the gum though too. So there's just a few drops, in each. So you really can't overdo it. I mean, safely, Dr. Hill has told us 2 drops every 4 hours internally is a general guideline. So I know this has like 4 or 5, the soft gel does. So you can take that one, just every 4 hours or so. But yeah, you want to take the oil as some form throughout the day. Okay.
That's where I was getting confused, Tana, because they gave us a schedule that was at the very beginning at convention that I printed, and it said you're supposed to take the drops 2 in the morning, plus take the capsule at each meal. And now I'm thinking, but that's the same stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And then I've got somebody who's using it, says I'm running out of everything. And if she doesn't really need to do the drops and the capsules, then she really doesn't need to run out of her stuff so fast, correct?
Right. I think they put the 2 drops with the Advantage in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Collagen, because it helps with the flavor. Some people have found that they like the collagen better if it's got a couple extra drops of the metabolic blend in there, but it already does have some of the essential oil in there. So a little bit more was helpful. And yeah, this is, if you're looking cost wise, this is the best bang for your buck, right?
Exactly.
The most oil. You can just take it in your mouth instead of a beadlet. You can put it in your water. You can, throw a few with dinner.
It's really good. I love the taste.
Yeah, so there's the schedule. And there was a question somebody had about, should I take all my vitamins at the same time? And there it is right there. You can take all your LLV in the morning with your collagen and, with the soft gel. It's perfectly fine. Somebody said, oh, but what if I add fiber to my Advantage? Because we have doTERRA fiber and greens. Some people are like, as long as I'm mixing this up, might as well throw in all the different powders that doTERRA has, the superfood green formula and so on and so forth. And there was some conversation that, oh, well, if you want all of your vitamins and minerals to be absorbed, then be sure and take a Terrazyme. And a Terrazyme prevents the vitamin from binding to the fiber and just moving on out of your body. So I thought that was a good idea. Just, throw a Terrazyme in there, and then you'll get all of your vitamins and minerals nice and in their most absorbable format. But there's no problem taking Terrazyme with all of the products. I mean, Dr. Riggs told us, go ahead and take all of doTERRA's products all at the same time. You will be fine. So, some people are getting stressed out. Oh no, Terrazyme with the Assist or Terrazyme with the Advantage, does it matter? It doesn't matter. Brannick Riggs just told us to calm down and just take all of your doTERRA stuff, you'll be fine. Somebody asked about, here's one. I was told you're not supposed to mix the collagen with anything because it will not allow the collagen to work. Okay, this is like in an ideal world, the collagen all by itself is fantastic. But there's some people that can't do it. Like I can't do it by itself. If I take my collagen in the morning first thing with nothing else. It completely liquefies everything along my digestive tract for 24 hours. I'm not even kidding. And somebody else may have that experience as well. And so I have to do mine with food. And I make sure and take a Terrazyme and I'm good to go. And Dr. O actually recommended that you can, if that is an issue for you, then to go ahead and take the collagen with something else. So I may not be absorbing as much of the collagen by taking it with food, but at least I'm absorbing something because otherwise it just goes straight through me. So, and along those lines, Dr. Osgood did tell us if you're having kind of some discomfort as your body adjusts to these products, then just give it time, because it is an adjustment as things are revving up, as your body gets what it needs, it starts cleaning up a little bit. And so there could be some short period, he says, usually in just 1 or 2 weeks, then your body adjusts to it. So I keep trying, the collagen by itself in the morning to see if my body has adjusted. And it just could be my unique situation, but I've talked to a few other people that are like, yeah, collagen works better for me if I take it with some food. And I'm still having, the other metabolic effects. So I know that I'm absorbing some of it. So not to stress about that. And then I was going to say, somebody was worried about a cinnamon allergy with the MetaPWR, and basically the essential oil cinnamon doesn't have any of the proteins that normally cause allergies. So the essential oil, the way that it is protein free, and proteins are usually what people have the sensitivities and the allergies to. So if you're worried about that, Dr. Who did I listen to? This guy was Goff, Dr. Andrew Goff. He said the crook of your elbow and the back of your knee is as the skin's really thin there, and if you're going to have any kind of allergic reaction, you can just put a little tiny bit there and your body will let you know, yeah, this probably isn't going to work at this point right now. You might need to do some cleanse, some talk to your leader and get things cleaned out a little bit more, and that sensitivity could go away. So testing on the crook of your elbow, if you're worried at all about any of the products. I know somebody was worried about like a stevia sensitivity, just try it there and see how it works. One other question. Oh, I wanted to take some experiences. If anybody has had a good experience and they wanted to share in 1 minute or less, just what's going on for you. I know a few people typed in there. I'd love to give you a chance to share while you're thinking of some more questions, if there's anybody.
Well, do you want us to share if we already put it in the chat?
You could say it.
Well, I went into it I was just thinking, oh, I just want to, really want to lose weight. I want to drop pounds that had accumulated over the last 5-6 years. And I felt like I was stuck after menopause, but I'm not getting that. Everyone's different. But I said, I'm not going to obsess over that because it's giving me so much energy and so much focus, and the brain fog's gone. And the fact that I'm not addicted to caffeine and really don't want any sugar at all, even though I wasn't eating a whole lot of it to begin with. But now I looked at a dessert the other day at a special event. I took one taste. I said, I don't even want this. It's like, I just like, someone else can eat this chocolate mousse. I really can't even stand it. So wow. That's big. That's really big. So it's okay. The other stuff, your body knows what to do when you get good stuff in it. So let your body figure it out. Right.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. One of my clients she's been taking the collagen, and she ran out. She just had a month supply, and she wants to order again in November. And she's like, now that I haven't had it for a few days, I'm recognizing how, she's like, I'm just a little more testy. I'm kind of on edge, like a big kind of family drama hit about halfway through the month, and she was able to just kind of ride it through and feel really peaceful. But when she ran out of Advantage, she's like, oh my goodness, that really was helping me, mentally to stay chill. Some people have asked about, I'm losing inches, just not pounds. And that's because your body mass index is changing. You're actually building lean muscle and connective tissue, and slimming down in the areas, that are needed. And so if you're curious what your body mass index is, I know there's lots of things online that you can put in some numbers, but they're not super accurate. So usually a local gym will have a machine that you can touch different points of your body, like the bottom of your feet and your hands, and that is a much more accurate indicator of your body mass index. So that's fun to watch the lean muscle increase and the fat index go down. So that's fun. And if you want to see more results, you're using all of your products faithfully, then maybe look at the other pillars of health. Just hold the course. It takes a little while for the body to totally get where it needs to go, but maybe look at your movement, and managing your stress, and reaching out to people for some of that good vibe connection. So just, this is a whole body approach. We're not just about the supplements, even though they help support us. It's looking at all the other things that you can do too. Cool. Oh, there was a question about the cholesterol actually going higher as they implemented some of these products. And not to worry, Dr. Goff explained that as the collagen, one of the collagen types that's in the Advantage actually helps with the arterial health, and can increase the healthiness of your arteries. And so some of that buildup of cholesterol on the arterial wall can slough off. And so then, you've got coursing now in your blood more cholesterol, right? But it's okay. It's temporary as your body's just cleaning out. So don't freak out if you see numbers change in not in the right direction. It's just part of the process, that, cleaning out. Somebody's asking, is there an age when it's recommended for somebody to start taking it? Yes, Dr. Riggs talked about this, and he said for children, unless there's a known issue, like one of your children is in insulin resistance or hypoglycemic, then they don't need to take these products, right? Unless there's an issue. So children probably not going to see as much benefit. They're they're doing what they need to do. But teenagers, definitely, he said, if they tend to not eat the way that they should. So anything that we can give them in the way of supplementation that they will do is awesome. Okay, so if you do have a child that's younger with one of these issues, I have my 13-year-old has she was recommended by a medical doctor to take collagen every day, and so she's on the Advantage for sure. But I just give her half because she's kind of petite. So she gets half a packet, and she is my most picky, you guys. And so I thought, oh, there's no way she's going to take this, but she does. And so after a week, because I could see, you know, because she leaves half the packet sitting on the counter for the next day, I'm like, so how's it taste? She's like, oh, it was really nasty the first few days, but now I don't mind. She doesn't mind, you guys. So that was a win. Oh, and then if there's any other existing health issue you're worried about, like maybe you're on some psychiatric medications, or, you know, the high blood pressure, cholesterol, any of those medications, or issues, you know, the question is, can we still use the MetaPWR system? And Dr. Riggs said, you know, of course, always talk to your doctor. He's like, but I don't see any reason why not. Okay. And so here's what I've had clients who, you know, they go to their doctor, they're like, okay, this is what I want to take. And the doctor's like, oh, I don't think you should take that. So how do you work with your doctor, right? If their opinion is that you shouldn't take a supplement or an oil, I always say, you're the patient, you're the one, it's your body. So if they have an opinion, ask them to substantiate it with some literature, have them do the homework, you know, like, okay, you don't think it's a good idea that I take this. Where, you know, do you have an article or a scientific publication showing that this is not a good idea? And so you kind of turn it back on them to do the homework, right? Like in doTERRA, we have lots of studies that show that this is safe and that there is no contraindication, and that it actually helps us do what we want to do in achieving our health goals. And so, you know, a lot of times if we try to go to the doctor with all the proof that, hey, this is why I want to take this, they're not as open, right? So just make them do the homework. Okay, Christine says, my 4-year-old grandson is a very picky eater and eats too much junk and too little good stuff, and is also very hyper and low level of focus. I want to try Advantage in him, but want to be safe. Oh, totally. The Advantage, yep, like I say, in like a half a packet, or maybe just a teaspoon, right? Like I think there's about 3 teaspoons in here. So maybe just scoop out a little bit and mix it into some yogurt or juice or something else. But yeah, that will definitely help. I do like that it is kid friendly. And I'm sorry, I didn't quite flesh that thought out as well. When our scientific or medical advisory board was talking about with children, he's like, yeah, we can control, you know, to a higher degree what our children are taking supplement wise and food wise. Is harder with the teenager. So yes, if you can sneak it in somehow, or just help get him on board with it so that he takes it willingly, that would be awesome. Cool. Any other questions?
Yes, I put them in the chat.
Okay. Can you take the MetaPWR with high white blood cell count? Yes.
The blood. Okay, because the blood work hasn't come back yet to say what's wrong.
Yeah. You're talking the whole MetaPWR system, right?
Yes, it's for my niece.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the whole thing. She's definitely old enough. It's just I didn't know about that.
Yeah. If she's big, yeah, or he, right?
I'm sorry. There's 2 people. One's my grandson and one's my niece. The niece is an adult, so she's the white blood cell count.
Yeah, yeah.
The grandson, I heard you say your daughter, who I met, is very petite. Okay, and then she only takes half of the Advantage, and he's quite big for his age. So would you still say take half? He's 13 and a half.
No, I would go by the body weight. If he's, you know,
He's big.
yeah. over 120, then
Oh, yeah.
probably an adult will be great.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Well, okay. And if there's more questions, I'll take them for a few more minutes, but I can just wrap up with, metabolic disease is on the rise. 10 years ago, I was listening to a podcast by a medical doctor, and he said, we would get a diabetic patient in, it was like less than 10% of his clients were diabetic. And he's like, now it's over half are struggling with the metabolism, this regulating the sugar in the diet. So I'm so glad we have answers, as the tide is rising, we have the support to help bring it back down again. And I will download the replay and upload it to YouTube and share that link with you. Okay. I'll post it in the Vibrant Wellness group and in our other team groups. And I just started with MetaPWR on Monday, so I can't really share benefits yet, but what exactly are the cellular improvements? We're seeing the collagen is what helps with the cellular integrity. And these are 9 different types of collagen. Most collagen products that are on the market right now just have 1 or 2 types, the type that's good for your skin and your joints. And it's in a form, I'm talking about, all the rest of the collagens out there. It's in a long chain form that is harder for your body to use. So what doTERRA did is they've included 9 different types of collagen. We've got the collagen that's good for your brain. Like your brain is made, it has collagen in there, and it needs collagen to do its job. And so doTERRA has the kind of collagen that's good for your brain, that's good for your arteries, and so many other different benefits. Where's that slide? I can bring up that slide. Type 1 related to the skin. Type 2 is for bones. Type 4 is for the dermis and the epidermis. 5 is for stabilizing types 1 and 2. And they're all in short form. These are tripeptides and not just peptides. They're tripeptides, which are the tiny little snippets that your body just takes and can put right to work. And 70% tripeptides. The percentage is just awesome. So we've got the cartilage kind, growth plates, joints, and invertebrate discs, your muscles, the cell membrane, like the cell wall, and the integrity of each cell being able to stay alive and do its job healthily. This is where you're seeing the cellular integrity. And then the herbal assist, where'd that go? Oh, right here. This one that helps with the blood sugar, right? Like it helps prevent your carbohydrates from being absorbed into the bloodstream really fast. And what happens is when that sugar hits your bloodstream, I've seen it. It's spiky, and it's like bouncing all over the place and causing damage along your arteries and to the other cells, your immune system that are floating along in your blood. So sugar in the bloodstream is just, dare I say, deadly. And this was really interesting. Another doctor I was listening to, he said somebody with diabetes is 4 times more likely to have a heart attack than someone who has already had a heart attack. You guys, so the assist is acting on that cellular level to help keep everything running smoothly. So again, diabetics are 4 times more likely to have a heart attack than somebody who's already had a heart attack. That just blows my mind. The cardiovascular disease is so directly linked to your diabetic your blood sugar, management, it's scary. Like the doctor that I listened to it was a whole panel of them, and they were petitioning for warning labels to be put on products that were high in sugar because of the direct correlation with, our number one killers, our most deadly diseases here in the US. So yeah, it will help on your cellular improvement. Oh, and somebody says they prefer the whey protein. Okay, this is great. Okay, I'm glad we can end with this. The difference between like a whey protein and a collagen protein is the ability to rebuild your cells, right? Like whey protein and the other typical collagen products out there just become fuel. They just become like, energy for the body, instead of the collagen that we have will go to repair and rebuild and keep our cells healthy on this level. So it's got like 20 calories. It's not fuel. This is not gonna be like your breakfast replacer. This is a supplement. It's a nutritional supplement to help your cells do what they need to do and be healthy. I'm having people report lower blood pressure, so that they're going to start trickling off of their blood pressure medication because, they typically are really high, and the collagen is helping them to lower their blood pressure. It could be a combination of the assist to keeping the sugar out of their bloodstream. So yeah, you could go ahead and keep taking whey protein for fuel, and then throw in the collagen too, because that helps with our metabolic health. Awesome. All righty. Well, it's been fantastic. See if there's any other questions. If not, I think we'll call it a day. It's been great. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for all your questions and contributing. And we'll be doing this again soon. Bye.